Presenting Slow Earth, Purging Fire. We're going to take another look at some sonnets from the 1609 quarto of Shakespeare's Sonnets. I have already covered these two sonnets briefly in Polyptoton's Glue, Sonnets 44 and 45. If the dull substance of my flesh were thought, injurious distance should not stop my way, for then despite of space I would be brought from limits far remote, where thou dost stay. No matter then, although my foot did stand upon the farthest earth removed from thee, for nimble thought can jump both sea and land, as soon as think the place where he would be. But thought kills me that I am not thought, to leap large lengths of miles when thou art gone, but that so much of earth and water wrought I must attend, time's leisure with my moan, receiving noughts by elements so slow, but heavy tears, badges of either's woe. The other two, slight air and purging fire, are both with thee, wherever I abide. The first my thought, the other my desire. These present absent with swift motion slide. For when these quicker elements are gone in tender embassy of love to thee, my life being made of four, with two alone, sinks down to death, oppressed with melancholy, until live's composition be recurred by those swift messengers returned from thee, who even but now come back again assured of their fair health, recounting it to me. This told, I joy, but then no longer glad. I send them back again, and straight grow sad. As we will see, they are digit-sum sonnets. These are companion poems which must be read in this order. The editors of this book, All the Sonnets of Shakespeare, Sir Stanley Wells and Dr. Paul Edmondson, are mistaken. They cannot be read in just any order, as they say. Their book is an attempt to discredit doubters, as one scholar has written, Hank Whittemore. The poet himself shows they have it wrong. The proof is in the numbers and words in the poem. It is truly authoritative. Let's start with the poems numbered. Where are the hints to use arithmetic? In Sonnet 44, we have the word noughts, meaning zeros. In Sonnet 45, we have 3 spelled English words and the word recounting. All of these are strong hints that we are to use arithmetic somewhere within the poem. Let's add the digits. This is why we call these digit-sum sonnets. Their sum is 17. 4 plus 4 is 8. 4 plus 5 is 9. 8 plus 9 is 17. Next, we add the number of words beginning with uppercase letters. The sum is double 17. Let's look at Sonnet 44. Treat these uppercase letters and words like numbers, then add them up. Notice that the decorative initial I is not included. We have the uppercase I's, uppercase V, and 3 homophones for English numbers. I call this a numbergram acrostic, and it is one of many found in the authorship game. The sum is our base number of 17. Let's do a simple gematria sum. We add up the values for all smaller uppercase letters in the poem. The solution is 136. 17 times 8. Let's take a look at Sonnet 45. We have a word count of 107. Then we subtract the number of words with uppercase letters. You get a digit sum number which adds to 17. Next, we add these gematria values in the same manner that we did in Sonnet 44. These are all the smaller uppercase letters within the poem. But now we subtract this value of the uppercase T that begins the poem. Next, we subtract these numbers which are spelled within the poem. You get 197, a digit sum number. From that, you subtract these homophones for numbers, 4, 2, 2, and 2. You end up with 187, or 17 times 11. In a puzzle that combines both sonnets, we add up all of these homophones and numbers, including the uppercase I from Sonnet 44 that begins the poem. But these two uppercase B's, which are Roman number 5s, are not included. Why? Because the poet says no V in a very clever use of words and numbers to give us another instruction. We end up with 36, but we subtract 2 because air and fire are with his love. We end up with 34. Here are the numbers as discovered. The two sonnets are connected by the sonnet number digit sum, 17. They are connected by the gematria sum of 89 and by the homophone and uppercase word count sums, which we just did, of 34. We have 4 different types of number puzzles with 3 solutions, giving us another example of the trio sunt omnia principle, in which a repetition of anything, whether it's an idea, a theme, or word, by 3 suggests that the text is hiding a profound truth. These numbers are seen many times in the authorship game. 4 are multiples of our base number 17. 17, 34, 136, and 187. And 2 are digit sum numbers like the sonnet's numbers, 89 and 197. The digits in those numbers add up to the same number as the adding of the digits of both sonnets. The only numbers missing are multiples of 20, which has a gematria value of V. Now we'll look again at the connections between the sonnets. First, the sonnets are connected by the elements: earth and water in Sonnet 44, air and fire in Sonnet 45. The grammar in Sonnet 45 shows the connection because the other two is an allusion to earth and water. You cannot say the other two without first mentioning earth and water. 2 are slow, 2 are fast. The slow elements are described in Sonnet 44. Sonnet 45 describes slight air and purging fire. 2 are badges of woe, as seen on line 14 of Sonnet 44. And in line 10 in Sonnet 45, 2 are swift messengers. And of course, the two poems are connected by thought. The word occurs in the first line in Sonnet 44 and the third line in Sonnet 45. And of course, it is also an example of polyptyton. Thought appears 4 times in the first poem and once in the second. And recall that polyptyton is the repetition of the same word with the same meaning, but in a different ways, varying such as case, mood, tense, person, degree, number, and gender. Air represents thought, as he says in Sonnet 45. Fire represents his desire to become light as air. In fact, the desire is described in the first line in Sonnet 44. Once again, we have a circular pair of sonnets, where something in the second sonnet clarifies something that's in the first sonnet. His desire is for the dull substance of his flesh to become thought. This seems to be the rhetorical figure of inclusio from line 9. Thought kills me that I am not thought. Inclusio is the bracketing of a passage of text with the same set of words at the start and end. And it is an example of personification. As he says in Sonnet 45, my life being made of 4, his life is made up of 4 elements, also known as the humors. But earth and water have been abandoned, as he says in Sonnet 45. They are 2 alone. They have been abandoned by air and fire, his thought and desire. Because air and fire are with his love. These 2 poems are obviously connected by the elements and connected by thought and his desire to become like air or thought, so that he can traverse distances and be with her in his mind, as he says in Sonnet 44. Injurious distance should not stop my way, for then despite of space I would be brought from limits far remote where thou dost stay. No matter then, although my foot did stand upon the farthest earth removed from thee, for nimble thought can jump both sea and land, as soon as think the place where he would be. But he sends his thoughts and desire to her, which makes him sad. This told, I joy, but then no longer glad, I send them back again, and straight go sad. The last quatrain in Sonnet 45 describes how air and fire are messengers of her constancy. Fair health, in fact, hides upon on his name. Until live's composition be recurred by those swift messengers returned from thee, who even but now come back again assured of their fair health, recounting it to me. This line, until live's composition be recurred, seems to speak of a letter, live's composition, which he remembers. It's recurring again in his memory. The author proves that these 2 editors are mistaken. Sir Stanley Wells and Dr. Paul Edmondson are wrong. The poems are personal and they are not just thought experiments. These sonnets must be read in this order because the grammar from Sonnet 45 absolutely demands that you read Sonnet 44 beforehand. They say you can read the sonnets in any order. The poet's own words prove them completely wrong. Here is the man identified by the number 17. He was a noble of high standing, also known as Shakespeare. He was Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.